Yes, you've read the title correctly. I am actually going to defend Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate, and Austin McBroom all in the very same video. I hate my life. Anyways, this is all due to the wonderful work done by the one and only H3H3 podcaster Ethan Klein. Because somehow Ethan and his minions have managed to become worse than all three of these dudes combined, and that in itself is pretty miraculous.
Of course you were right. And honestly, just so over these people. Shut the up! Shut up!
Now before you start thinking I drank the Kool-Aid and have become some kind of red pill giga chat, that is actually not what happened. Although I will have to admit that I find Andrew Tate hilarious.
Be honest, if I actually came to Romania for like a week, would we actually hang out? Like, could I be under your wing?
A week's way too long. A day, maybe.
What the bro? It's like a crazy hour flight.
So yeah, he's a funny dude. Moving on. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because Ethan Klein for a while now has been pushing out very obvious lies that even a baby could fact check in 5 seconds. And remember, Ethan actually has an entire production team working for him, researching things on air.
Tools actually do. If you have a lot of you can actually blast open your
You can definitely get it a little stretched.
And we actually fact checked that, my friends. We did some research.
Did you?
Yeah, somebody sent an article that said frequent can result in a blasted open right?
So they can do all of that while running the podcast, but doing just 5 seconds of YouTube research before the show is somehow too much. Now in addition to this, Ethan also tried to entrap Fresh and Fit, and in particular Myron.
Oh, up. Well, you know why. They're trying to find drunk girls to take advantage of.
Yeah, of course. And then he tried to maintain a conversation with me, like through text, and I was like not answering him because I had gotten my wallet back. Not answering him because I had gotten my wallet back. Not answering him because I had gotten my wallet back.
So obviously, as a channel that goes after bull and hypocrisy, I can't avoid to talk about this, even if I don't want to defend the guys this affects. So if you like Fresh and Fit, or Andrew Tate, or even if you don't, but simply want to keep YouTubers honest,
a few months now.
Yeah, before the next event happens, the fighters will be paid.
Then please like this video and comment down below to push it out to as many people as possible. Now this brings us to Ethan Klein, who is still making videos calling Andrew Tate a human trafficker.
Human trafficked women he forces into webcam slavery.
Which has never been proven.
He absolutely should be in prison. Andrew Tate, as you guys know, Cobra the human trafficker, as we like to call him, is a known trafficker.
They haven't even been charged. There's no evidence really coming out that proves it. How can you so confidently call this person that?
And from the looks of things, he is basing this claim on a simple misunderstanding that was prompted yet again by a woman lying about a very serious problem. So yeah, ladies, you're not exactly helping me out here. I'm calling these clowns out on their bull, and then you guys go and make false accusations against them, basically proving them right. I mean, come on, help me out here.
Help me!
Now to understand just why Ethan Klein would do this, you have to understand his business model. You see, the H3H3 podcast is built around the deplatforming of creators.
Really up to even platform this guy at all.
Ethan panders to the cancel culture mob that goes after everybody that says something that he doesn't agree with, and he tries to get sponsors to drop those creators. Now with that said, I do believe in calling people out on their bullshit. It is why I made the videos on Austin McBroom, since it was about a $100 million lawsuit with actual receipts to prove the whole disaster, or the Fresh and Fit video where these two clowns almost deplatformed themselves by issuing dozens of false copyright strikes to other YouTube creators. Again, tons of receipts containing actual letters sent by YouTube to lawyers, creators, and paralegals. So that's all fine, it is all based on facts. What I have a problem with is when you go after creators over and over again simply because you don't like them, and when you are just pushing out false information that you can easily verify in 5 seconds. This is absolutely disgusting, and it has become the bread and butter of H3H3 Productions. Now Ethan does this so often and carelessly that even his own wife has to step in and prevent him from throwing his own family members under the bus.
And Trisha apparently got involved somehow and was talking to Ryan Kavanaugh.
We don't know about that.
Well, like in the lawsuit, okay, in the lawsuit against me, what I do know, I don't know if they talked. And Trisha apparently got involved somehow and was talking to Ryan Kavanaugh.
So let's start with Austin, then move on to Tate, and finally finish with Myron and his sidekick. So Austin McBroom and his Ace Family brand have been involved in dozens of lawsuits, million-dollar scams, and at this point, they are basically a synonym for the word disaster, which makes it very easy to make anything about them seem like a scam or some sort of drama.
Oh, I love Ace Family. They're just such scum, because you ended up scamming me again. I think they didn't sell enough tickets.
See this right here? This is simply not true. What actually happened is that the boxing commissioner who was supposed to sanction the fight as a pro fight was not going to sign off on Gibbs' medical records.
As we know. Gibb, being lazy, it was laziness, decided he didn't want to travel to Liverpool, find his own one in Harley Street, which these people are not specified to MRI check fighter reports forwarded to the American people, and they ain't happy with what they've sent back.
That doesn't mean he's gonna have the results.
Exactly. So we won't have the results before the actual fight date, which is the following Saturday. So that's why they have to postpone the event.
So clearly, when you put all of this together, Austin did nothing wrong, and Gibbs simply messed up by not taking the medical screening process seriously. But this Austin drama is peanuts in comparison to our next disaster, since this one is insane. Now, Andrew Tate is currently going Chernobyl on YouTube, since calling his success blowing up is simply an understatement. Now, some of you might like him and some of you don't, that's all fine, but it's irrelevant because the problem here is that we have another controversial creator that Ethan doesn't like, who is having mad success on YouTube
and is now somehow more searched than Mr. Beast.
This is why when Ethan heard there was a human trafficking case against Andrew Tate, he obviously got a massive cancellation boner, and from this point on, Ethan never looked deeper into the story. He simply regurgitated it over and over again, hoping that it would catch on and cancel Andrew Tate and deplatform him from YouTube.
And, you know, he probably pays people off and they don't with him. But the American embassy literally was like, yo, someone there has been trafficked and kidnapped. You need to go rescue them. And the police went in and rescued them and then let the guys go. I'm telling you.
Oh wow, he's telling us, so it must be true. This guy, man, he's such a liar. Now, instead of believing the bull that Ethan was spinning, I actually dove into this story and translated the original Romanian newspapers from journalists who actually spoke directly to the police and the US Embassy, and this resulted in a completely different story. So first of all, there isn't even a trafficking or human trafficking case against the brothers at this point, which automatically means there hasn't been a conviction. So when Ethan says known trafficker
is a known trafficker,
he's just lying his ass off. Now the girl in question is a 21-year-old American named Emma Ada Gabby, and she actually had a boyfriend in the United States. So while dating this dude, she was texting with Tristan, not with Andrew Tate. Again, a detail that Ethan just happens to leave out, since this whole situation is actually about what Tristan Tate did and not about what Andrew Tate did. He's only seen as an accomplice in this case because he was there when the raid took place. So Tristan invites Emma to come and party in the $1 million Tate house in Romania.
And he lives in Romania because it's corrupt as
He ran away from the UK because he was a human trafficker. Guys, if you think that the police in the UK really believe he's a human trafficker, how did he visit recently? How did he visit over the last few years and gone back constantly?
At some point, Emma tells her boyfriend back in the States that she was not allowed to leave the house and that she was held against her will. Why she actually did this is completely unclear, and the police have not given an explanation for this. But Tristan Tate said on a podcast that it was because of a massive fight between the boyfriend and Emma when he found out she was partying at the Tate house. So the boyfriend ends up contacting the US Embassy in Romania, who then send Romanian police to the house and they execute a search warrant. They end up finding Emma and they take Tristan and Andrew to the police station. So again, Ethan just makes up when he says the police went in and let the guys go.
And the police went in and rescued them and then let the guys go. I'm telling you.
They did not do this. They actually took them to the police station, interrogated them for 5 hours while they looked at the camera footage from around the house, and on the video they saw Emma freely entering and exiting the compound. The only charge currently being investigated is that of illegal deprivation of liberty, which is actually something you can get into very easily by just locking someone up in a bathroom during a party. This does not always mean that something incredibly evil went down. Now this would have taken Ethan Klein's team maybe 2 minutes to figure out if they actually wanted to. But again, the fake story sounds a whole lot more damaging, and that is all that Ethan really wants. This is so hypocritical coming from a guy who almost cried when people started reporting him to the FBI for the famous bomb threat incident.
Do we have any insight into what they're actually talking about there at the NRA meeting that's today in Texas? Someone should bomb that building.
See, this is the exact same situation where you can argue he just made a bomb threat.
Someone should bomb that building. Okay, don't. I'll roll that back. I got a little carried away there. Nobody bombed the building.
but it's pretty clear that yes, he did say the actual words, but he also quickly walked it back. So if you're only reporting Ethan Klein made NRA bomb threat, that's pretty messed up, and that's not exactly what happened. But Ethan himself does this all the time, which is why he ended up in a giant mess with the Fresh and Fit situation, where he tries to push the girl into saying that she was assaulted by Myron, and even though the girl in question was clearly lying, not even she wants to go that far.
This is very bad. This is a very disturbing story, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting, but at that point,
I think he may have assaulted you. I mean, at this point, I
mean, I don't want to say that, but like, again, but at that point,
I think he may have assaulted you. I mean, at this point,
Now, I hate talking in red flag terms that you see online all the time, because that's basically what degenerate social media dating coaches do. But in this case, I'll happily make an exception, because when a girl indicates she's going to expose a guy as a predator by going to a party with him and going to his house to then be alone with him in his bedroom, brushing her teeth specifically for him because he doesn't like the taste of alcohol in her mouth, that is a major red flag. But not with Ethan. He just heard expose and Fresh and Fit, and again his cancellation boner returned. Then she comes out with claims that they tried to get her drunk, which was later debunked by other women on the podcast.
So this is before you go on. You're 19 years old and they're offering you alcohol. That's classy.
Yeah, and then so they offered me a White Claw, so I was like, no thank you, and they were like, come on. So like I just took the White Claw and I opened it.
I was actually the one that I asked them what they wanted, and they said that they wanted White Claw, and so then I asked them what flavor they wanted.
But to round it all off, and really the most important thing, is that after telling her whole story of how she was not into Myron at all and found him creepy and wanted to leave the whole night.
On the podcast, I was sick to my stomach just being on the podcast itself. But like just being in his presence, like later in the night, I felt very sick because it was just weird.
She herself then admits to taking off her clothes and changing into Myron's merch.
So I come back in the room and then I go to the bathroom, like in the kitchen. He's like, that's not where the mouthwash is. So I was like, oh, okay, where's the mouthwash?
Now the important thing here is that Ethan Klein heard all of this and thought, yep, makes perfect sense, nothing wrong here, let's just put it out there and let everyone see it. This is all very sad and disgusting, and it shows very clearly that Ethan Klein keeps profiting from shoveling to his fan base that just wants a target to be angry at, and they don't really care if it actually happened. This was Ethan Klein profiting from lies. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.